Today, I'm going to tell you exactly how I capture wedding day audio perfectly, without fail, every time. Now, it did take me some time to figure this stuff out, but I can confidently say I know exactly what I'm doing, and I feel really good about it. Now, like you, when I first started filming weddings, I always felt anxious about audio because there were so many things that I just didn't know, like what gear to get, how to use the gear, how do I record from the DJ setup? Is that even a question I need to be asking? What if someone doesn't wear my lav mic I spent so much money on? How will I record them? Does any of this sound familiar? I can go on, but the good news is I've gone through all of those problems and I'm here to share it with you. Before I get into this video, if this is your first time here, I make wedding videography tutorial content and I talk about other filmmaking gear time to time. So if you're into that and not tired of my face yet, then please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you get any value from it. So first, where can you record from at a wedding? So typically for me, I have 4 recording spots. The first is a soundboard, also known as the DJ's mixer. And for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna just refer to it as the mixer going forward. The second spot is a microphone receiver. If you don't know, wireless microphones are connected to this hub-looking thing called a microphone receiver. The third spot is a speaker that has an output connection. And finally, the fourth spot is the person speaking or an actual microphone you can put your own mic on. Coffee. If you strictly just want the speeches, then your best option to record from is a wireless microphone receiver or attaching a lav mic to a microphone head. You'll only pick up anyone speaking in those microphones, no music. Also remember that if there is no wireless microphone, then there will not be a microphone receiver. Wired microphones plug directly into a mixer. Speaking of mixer, if you want the music and speeches together, you plug into the DJ's mixer. I like having this option recorded just in case there are performers that have specific music mixes they've created, or if I need to do a first dance edit or something like that. By recording from the mixer, I've got the music included in the recording, and I don't have to take an extra step in finding the song. I can just take my video clip and audio file and sync it together in post. Now let's get into the gear I use and the situation in which I use it. Starting off, I have the DR10Ls as my lav mics. You guys know the drill at this point. These guys are an industry standard. And like most people, I use these mics to record the bride and groom. The groom is pretty easy. Just clip the microphone to his suit. The bride, not so much. If you haven't seen my leg garter video, I recommend you check it out. But what I like about it using a leg garter is it has a pocket to hold the recorder, and then I run the white lav cable up the bride's dress and clip it on. You can also buy these lapel sticky things that will allow you to stick the microphone onto the dress directly from the inside, so you can hide the mic entirely to get a cleaner look. The main reason I mic the bride and groom is to record their vows during the ceremony. Sometimes I'll leave these on the couple all day and sometimes I won't. It really depends on how comfortable the couple is. I can always ask if they can wear it for the entire day, but if they don't want to, then that's totally cool. Now before I go further, I actually had a call with the bride a week before her wedding. I found out she was giving personal vows, so I wanted to get on a phone call and ask her if she would wear the leg garter. Here's how that conversation went. Okay, so calling, we're gonna put her on speakerphone.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm pretty good. The reason I'm calling is because you will be doing personal vows at your wedding, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
We haven't, but yes.
Okay, cool. In order to record like the vows from the bride, I usually send my couples this it's a garter belt that you wear on your thigh. The reason for it is I put like a microphone in it and then I strap it up to the dress, and then right after the ceremony's done, you take it off.
Okay, so that's how you record what we say, right?
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be an issue. I don't see why.
I'll mail you like a couple sizes, that way you can see what one fits better.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I will go ahead and send you the address. This is your cell phone number?
Yeah, this is my cell phone number, so you can just text it to me if you want. Now, some of you guys might feel awkward or afraid asking the bride to use the leg garter. I once had someone say it's like giving the bride lingerie, and they felt like it was an appropriate thing to do. But like you guys saw over the call, the bride was totally cool and completely on board. Speaking of that bride, on her wedding day, her vows sounded like this.
crazy how an Instagram direct message led us to where we are today. Standing in front of our closest family and friends, ready to commit our love and loyalty to one another for the rest of our days.
After the ceremony, I might have a bridesmaid bring me the mic, which tells me the bride is saying, hey, I really don't want this to be on me any more than it has to be. And if no one brings it over, that means the bride is comfortable wearing it for the entire day. I also use the DR10L as a podium mic at ceremonies. A lot of times, there is no accessible audio interface, so I just go straight to the source. What I do is gaff tape the wire around the podium's microphone arm and clip the DR10L's microphone to the windscreen if there is one. If there isn't a windscreen, then I'll just gaff tape it on. I'll also do this to the podium mic at the reception. Try to make your wiring work as clean as possible so it doesn't throw off anyone giving a speech.
For all who begin married life today, may their lives be a sacrament of Christ's invincible love for us all. We pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For the members of Shauna and Ravi's families who have died, and for those who feel their absence most keenly at this time of joy.
My next piece of gear is the Sony TX660 recorder. I also made a video about this guy, and I call this my lav mic of convenience because I can easily clip it onto anyone without fiddling with wires. There are 2 times I use this mic. The first time is with the ceremony officiant because it's an easy handoff to someone I don't know. It's just less resistance with a clip-on microphone than something with a wire and a pack.
So the union you have created may be kept safe by your assistance.
The second time I use this mic is with the groom during the reception. Now, I sell an add-on called Speeches, and what I do is layer over a reaction of the couple over top the shot of the person giving a speech. I'll use the audio from the TX660 to pick up the reaction sounds from both the bride and groom and have that present in the deliverable. Feel free to copy me if you like.
I was grateful to have you walk me home from school, but not so grateful when I was always having to watch Pokemon instead of Sailor Moon when we got home from school.
Third on the list is the trusty Zoom H5. This is used to record speeches from different audio interfaces such as the mixer. To connect with an audio interface, I also bring 4 cables with me. The first 3 are a male to female XLR, an RCA to 1/4 inch, and a 1/4 inch to male XLR. These are what I call the big 3. You can get through almost any situation with these cables, but as you progress in your career, you might find yourself getting additional cables that more so suit your specific needs. For example, I also use an RCA to dual XLR cable because a lot of times I'm taking an RCI line out of the DJ's mixer. If it isn't obvious, a line out means I'm asking the DJ for an audio feed from his mixer. I do this because I find RCA to 1/4 inch noisy, and having XLR connections are a lot cleaner and less noisy. XLR is also the industry standard, as a lot of recording devices usually have XLR inputs and outputs, so always try to use XLR when possible. This is another older piece of gear made by Tascam called the DR10X, and this is an accessory called an attenuator. Together, I use this as a backup to record straight from a speaker that has an XLR mail-out. Now, the DR10X on its own can't handle too much sound at once. It can easily be distorted if someone is yelling or if there's music. To combat this, I use an attenuator. An attenuator is used to reduce the volume your initial sound is coming in at, therefore making it more quiet and, in this case, usable. I set my attenuator to -25 decibels to -20 decibels and couple this with the -12 decibel safety track recording that most Tascam products have. I can capture both speeches and music perfectly. I also use this to capture speeches straight from a wireless microphone receiver. Here is a behind the scenes walkthrough of me using the DR10X as well as all my other audio gear plugged into the DJ's mixer. So real quickly, I just want to show you the audio setup that I'm using for receptions. You're essentially looking for an out on the board, so normally I like to go for a an XLR out, but the DJ here, he's elected to not give me an XLR out. Not because he's a bad guy, but just because he prefers to keep his XLR for himself, just in case he might need to plug in. So instead, he's given me an RCA out, which on his board says Master 2. It's 2 left and right channels going right into my Zoom H5 here, using just a regular cable just to monitor it, and then this is a cable that just connects to a power source. And then my second backup is this guy right here, the Tascam DR10X, paired with an attenuator, and I'm using a XLR to a 1/4 inch going right into the microphone wireless receiver. And as you can see, if you can see, it says out. So yeah, that's the setup for the backup. As you saw in my behind the scene example, I like having a line out from the mixer and a line out from the microphone receiver. I used to only record from the mixer until I ran into a DJ that played music while the speeches were happening. It was brutal. So since then, I started to record from the receiver because what comes from the receiver is completely pure and untouched by the DJ. Okay, so Feature Raf here, and I actually just ran into a problem this past weekend with the DJ with the same issue I was just talking about. So I had my Zoom H5 plugged into his soundboard / mixer, and I had the Tascam plugged into the microphone wireless receiver. I admittedly was not checking my audio because I had a same day edit to do, but I left it up to one of my second shooters to take care of, which he didn't. But what we found out was I wasn't getting levels from the H5, and that was because the DJ had to adjust his levels or something because he was getting some sort of hum on his microphone. When everything was fixed, it turns out that I wasn't getting levels on my H5 anymore. But luckily, I had my Tascam DR10X, which saved my ass because I was so fortunate that this was plugged into the microphone receiver and I had everything that I would need for all the speeches for that reception. Back to the video. The DJ's mixer or soundboard is exactly what it sounds like. It mixes the available sounds together and gives the DJ the choice whether or not to play those sounds at whatever point they want. Finally, this is my trump card for recording speeches, the Rode Wireless Go 2. I've shown this before in previous videos, but I basically attach this to a microphone using this mic sleeve and it works great. Just keep it as close to the microphone grill as possible and you should be good to go.
No, but in all honesty, Katie, you're easily the best person that I could, imagine him marrying. You're absolutely lovely. Our whole family loves you. You're funny, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're incredibly strong, and he seems to like you, so that's a plus. I'm just, my brother's always had a knack for dating older women, but I'm just glad that he's not dating.
If the venue that I'm at is using a wireless microphone, I'll only use the transmitters and leave the receiver off. This is because the wireless signal the Rode transmitter sends to the Rode receiver might cause interference with the actual microphone. I actually don't know if this is true, but in my experience it has been. So my rule of thumb is just leave the receiver off when I've got the transmitter on a wireless microphone. The same theory applies to the DR10L when I gaff tape the lav onto a mic. It doesn't work wirelessly, therefore it doesn't emit any frequencies that will cause interference. This really helps if there is no DJ or if you have a DJ that doesn't want to play nice. Speaking of playing nice, how you treat people can go a long way in gaining their trust. I never go up to a DJ and demand a line out from their system. They don't know me, and just because I'm the wedding videographer, it doesn't grant me some sort of clearance to use their system. They are also running their own operation. I always approach them and ask if they are the DJ, and once they confirm they are, I tell them my name, I shake their hand, and introduce myself as the videographer, and politely ask them if I can get a line out from their mixer. It's the same with miking people. If you want to mic a dad for a first look with his daughter, don't just demand that they wear your lav mic. Ask if it's okay with them. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Raf, I don't know, what if they do mind and they tell me they don't want to wear my microphone? I hear you. And my response is this: at that point, it's out of your control and you should just let it go. This is a wedding and not a movie set. No one is being paid to do anything. You can only rely on the goodness in people to help you, and unfortunately, some people don't have that. Now, circling back to asking people for anything, make sure you are smiling, have a bit of enthusiasm, so you appear friendly so there's no tension. Now, if you follow this advice, I'm like 90% sure you won't have any problems. But there is always a small chance that the person will still say no to you. But at that point, you've done all you can and you've just got to roll with it. There is a ton of gear you can buy, some newer than the ones I've talked about in this video, but like any gear, you've got to get the stuff that works for you. You might have noticed that everything I own isn't capable of 32-bit float recording, but it really hasn't been a problem for me. But if you film events where people scream into a microphone, then 32-bit float recording will probably benefit you. My trump card audio device is my Rode Wireless Goes, but I don't know, maybe use something that's different and maybe others can benefit from it. If you do, let us know in the comment section down below. And if you're struggling to mic your brides, again, I made a video on how to do that. I'm really proud of it. So definitely check it out because it really has been a game changer for me and I know it can help you as well.